Hi, this is the Social Distance Reading Series, a project of the Vermont School and Green Mountains Review. I am Tiff Holland, author of My Mother's Transvestites from Finishing Line Press, and I'd like to thank you for joining me in Leander, Texas, just northwest of Weird, as we say here, where we call Austin is Weird. So, a little bit about myself. I've been a writer all my life. I publish a lot in anthologies and journals, and you can also find I have two chapbooks, two previous chapbooks. One is Bone and Tin Funnel. That's a chapbook of poetry published by Pudding House Press, and the other chapbook I have published is a book of flash fiction called Betty Superman, and that was published by Rose Medal Press. It won the 5th annual Rose Medal Press Award for flash fiction, and then was selected for inclusion in their anthology, My Very End of the Universe, which is a book, an anthology of novellas in flash, because all of my flashes there were connected, and My Very End of the Universe is a line from one of my flashes in my collection. So I'd like to just go ahead and jump into the reading here. I'd like to start with a poem about the transvestites or cross-dressers who came into the beauty shop. This was in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up. I spent a lot of time there in my mother's beauty shop, Polly Holland's beauty shop, although I usually refer to it in print as Betty Petty's beauty shop. I wanted to not use my mother's name while she was alive, but ended up she didn't care. She was very happy about it, but she did happen to buy it from a woman named Betty Petty, so I thought that was interesting, the rhymey kind of names, and I definitely wanted to keep with that. So anyway, this work is about, this poem is about the transvestites themselves, and it is called Hot Work. The transvestites are slippers in after closing, arrive incognito through the back door to emerge sweaty flowers. Transvestites like scarves, although none of the women wear them, not anymore. It is hot work being beautiful, but they are willing to make concessions, to pay cash so their wives cannot track their other lives. They try on the wigs, gathering dust on the top shelves, the ones the beauty shop ladies spurn. It is just them and us, although they would like nothing more than to mingle under the dryers, to nibble donuts and discuss the Inquirer. My mother applies their makeup. I feign sleep in the shampoo chair, sneaking peeks at the finished products. Wingless angels with 5 o'clock shadow, tottering in circles between the dryers and the styling chairs, trying in that small space to learn how to fly. So that's the first one. And this whole collection pretty much deals with identity over the course of about 20 years. This one is Foundations. About the time I was trying to decide whether to have a sex change operation, but before I threw all my dresses and skirts, my slips and nylons in the trash, my boyfriend invited me to a fancy nightclub for New Year's Eve. The disco ball made me nervous. I have nothing to wear, I told him, although I meant I don't know what to wear. I don't know who I am. No problem, he answered. He drove me to the mall in his red Ford Escort, took me to O'Neill's or Macy's or Kaufman's, whatever it was called back then, found a black velvet bodice with a crinoline skirt etched in gold. part of this is missing, I told him, though it was lovely. I couldn't imagine myself in it. To me, it was lovely like a painting or a flower. I could no more imagine wearing it than dressing in petals. He took me to the foundations department. I had already told him I was neuter. I told him on our very first date. He saw a clerk restocking against the wall. "We need a backless, strapless black bra," he announced, his voice floating over the underwires. His words catching in their cups. He paused. "What's your size?" he asked me. I had never been in that department with someone else. I only owned athletic bras. I preferred styles that minimized and had considered wrapping my chest. 36C, I whispered. 36C, he boomed. And in a moment, the thing had appeared. So, the next one I wrote, this is about my alter ego, so it's still about identity. And I was working in insurance at the time, and my husband had warned me, never be too good at a job, or you will end up doing the very worst of the job. You will get more work, and you will get the harder work. And I should have listened to him, and instead I ended up as a claims adjuster who handled claims involving children who were mauled by dogs and decapitated in their cars. So I would come home at night and fill the bathtub up, our green bathtub in our old farmhouse, and read the paper with my arms above my head until they gave out while I sipped vodka. And during that time, I invented Tracy because I wanted to be anybody else but me. Tracy can't hold her liquor, is a flirt but not a tease, will say anything to anyone and has left me looking for car keys in bushes, panties bald at the end of the bed. Tracy believes in astrology but not insurance, likes low-cut blouses and cheap sentimental jewelry. Sometimes she whistles for no reason, prays when she thinks I can't hear. Tracy thinks recommended daily allowances are for suckers. She never gets up to make sure the stove's off or check the smoke detector. Once she went for milk and came back with a convertible, traded my Civic for 50 monthly payments. My husband asks me, "Can't Tracy come over?" but stops short of please, so he won't seem too eager. I don't want to know what they do together. Tracy plays the wine glasses at parties, runs a finger over each rim, adjusts the pitch with sips of Zinfandel or Burgundy, her lips so red I pale in comparison, make her apologies, try to believe it when I say, "It's not me, it's Tracy." And I got the name Tracy from this good friend of mine. My best friend when I was a kid was named Tracy, and she was always getting in trouble. And I admired her. She could ruffle my mother's feathers, even though I could not. So the next one I'm looking for here, Elegy for Uncle Bill. In some theories of time, everything is happening at once. Your birth and death and all your lovemaking. In one corner of the curved universe, you're playing catch with your brother in the backyard, wearing the shorts and matching ball caps from the photo on the shelf beside the kitchen window. The collie dog from the same picture is running between you, barking, and your mitt is new, not yet shaped to your palm, and smelling of the oil your father is teaching you to rub into it as he sits drinking beer and eating peanuts, listening to the Indians game. Or maybe it's 1948, the last year Cleveland won the series, and you know all the players' names, their batting averages and ERAs. You pretend to be Lou Boudreau as you run the imaginary baseline through the tall grass, rounding past your valedictory speech at second. There's a throwdown on the third baseline, and you run back and forth between your children and grandchildren before sliding into home to land in your backyard with your brother, the ball curving between you, spinning in its arc. So that's for my Uncle Bill and also for my father. So let's see. The next one I'm looking for. A piece of August. In Ohio, the corn is tasseling. The dog, practicing homeopathic medicine, is eating grass again. Even in my dreams, in which I'm barren, camouflaged, and afraid, I'm at the mercy of pharmaceuticals. It's a short season. The tired flags hang forgotten from their independence poles like week-old lynchings. It is our most incidental qualities that cause us persecution. In Mississippi, the love bugs couple mid-air, only to kamikaze into oncoming traffic. Another week, and I'll be headed there again, my second home, temporarily unmated, traveling by means of steel, rubber, asphalt, unable to remain aloft upon something as elemental as air. I never wanted to be Amelia Earhart or Superman. I'd rather be Crypto, the superdog, with the power to fly without Clark Kent's barely disguised and constant sense of responsibility. I'd be happy just to piss in the tall grass with the ordinary dogs, oblivious to our susceptibility, like Superman's to kryptonite, to be destroyed by a small piece of our original home. And Weather Vane. So this is a Meniere's poem, but it was not included in my first chapbook because I had not written it yet. And during a particularly bad episode, I wrote this. Weather Vane. I'm folding myself up a tinfoil hat to wear out in the rain, try to short-circuit this constant buzzing, redirect it with a Kaiser spike, a weather vane made out of chicken bone. I'm candling this ear, this end of tonight's broadcasting static, letting the hot wax cool into perfect wicked cochlear images, and then I'm setting them on fire, burning the sound down like a lightning-struck tree, a feeble black thread. Then I'm giving myself a good yank. I'm sterilizing needles for acupuncture, studying reflexology. I'm roof-a-pounding myself quiet. All I want is to hear my heartbeat, blood pooling into bruises, my own thoughts moving in a straight line. I'm placing pennies on closed eyelids, drawing all the sounds away from my body, theorizing on how it is bottle trees evict any kind of haint. Dog bark overwrites exclamation point script, and there's always the garbage disposal, the dishwasher to grind, to ground, to wash away. The vacuum cleaner with its attachments designed specifically to exhume dust and dander, dirt and dead cells is worth a try. But first, the hat. Flag of surrender folded, shiny side in, or maybe sculpted into a fancy restaurant leftover swan. I'm swimming away on a sea of hum static, hiss ring buzz, using it against itself, transmitting to the universe on my private frequency while I take a bat to my kneecaps, my elbows, my skull. Every melody deserves a harmony. I'm going to inflict time and meter, break whole notes into quarters, the quarters into eighths. You'll know me when you find me, my shiny hat bobbing, syncopated on a puddle, my craw open like the rooster, without the sense to come in out of the rain. So thank you very much for listening to me. And if you like these poems, again, the book is My Mother's Transvestites from Finishing Line Press. Also, if you like these poems, you might very well like those of my good friend, Adam Clay. He has a new book out called To Make Room for the Sea, and that's with milkweed. And thank you again to the Social Distance Reading Project, Vermont College, and Green Mountains Review.